As you travel east along the rim of the Grand Canyon, you'll notice a dramatic change in the landscape. The tall ponderosa pine forest that dominates much of the south rim gradually gives way to a shorter, scrubbier woodland. Here on the east rim, pinyon pine and Utah juniper become the dominant tree species, better adapted to the warmer, drier conditions. But why is it drier here? If you watched my video on Merriam's life zones, you already know how elevation can affect temperature, and essentially every 1,000 feet you go down, temperature goes up by about 5 degrees. These small changes in elevation and small changes in temperature can have big changes in the environment. You can see this transition firsthand as you descend what is known as Bogellan Hill. At the top of the hill, around 7,300 feet in elevation, the landscape is dominated by ponderosa pine and Gambel oak. But as you descend to roughly 7,000 feet, the scenery changes surprisingly quickly. Almost all at once, the pinyon juniper woodlands become the dominant forest type. Throughout northern Arizona, this pattern repeats itself around 7,000 feet, seems to be the tipping point where ponderosa pine forests begin to thrive. Above this elevation, cooler temperatures, greater snowfall, and increased moisture create ideal conditions for ponderosa pine. Below it, warmer and drier conditions favor pinyon pine and Utah juniper. However, nature is rarely that simple. As you continue driving east along the rim, the elevation begins to rise once again. By the time you reach Desert View, elevations approach 7,500 feet, high enough for ponderosa pine in many parts of northern Arizona. So why don't they return? The answer lies in the terrain. When storms move into northern Arizona, they're forced to rise over elevated terrain, such as the Grandview Phantom Fault region and the Kaibab Uplift. As the air rises, it cools, drops its moisture in rain or snow, and by the time it descends on the opposite side, it is warmer and drier. The effect is known as the rain shadow. The east rim sits in the shadow of the surrounding highlands, creating drier climates that favor pinyon juniper woodlands, even at elevations where ponderosa pine might otherwise grow. It's a reminder that elevation alone does not determine what grows where. Climate, geology, topography, and weather patterns all work together to shape the ecosystems of the Grand Canyon.